Okay, so here we have an AQA GCC case study. This is the one that says the extraction of a fossil fuel has both advantages and disadvantages. So before we start, remember both advantages and disadvantages. I've got a framework I'm going to use. Social advantages and disadvantages, economic, environmental disadvantages, social, economic, environmental, and political disadvantages and advantages. Put it together with an H and you get sheep. Anyway, open cast mining in Northumberland. Location, first of all, so in the southeast coast, up on an area called Dorridge Bay, and we've got a storage area and we've got an extraction area. So there's our site. So in the north of Newcastle, the northeast, very historic site for lots of extractive and manufacturing industry. 7 million tonnes of coal, which will take approximately 10 years to extract, so employing people. The company, remember, you've got to have some located detail known as Banks Mining. They plan to open the coal mine, extract the coal by scraping away the earth. So it's the earth, it's open cast, it's get in and just take it out. It's rather like what they do in Australia. Very cheap way of doing it, because you're not digging down with all the safety implications that has. And they wish to extract coal up to 2027, but then by 2032, the site will be restored. So economic impact during, environmental impact during, but then restoration afterwards. So the advantages: social advantage, creation of footpaths, bridleways, cycle paths to encourage a healthy lifestyle at the end of it. So when it's done, remember that. Economic, the local multiplier effect. More than 150 jobs will be created and beyond after 2032, because there may be recreation that comes in to replace the mining jobs. Local wages, 13.2. A community fund, which will be split to do local good works to help social cohesion. So economics helps social. 6 million taxes go to the UK government. Thank you very much indeed. And obviously it may attract tourists in the future, the restored area, again, a maybe. So economic advantages, environmental advantages. There's already sand extraction going on there. And if this was to go ahead, the Banks Mining Corporation would stop the sand extraction and would therefore save money for the local government. Banks Mining will be working with Northumberland Tourism and Northumberland Wildlife Trust in the way that they look after as much as possible the impact they're going to have on extracting. And then when they regrow the land and they restore the land, working with Northumberland Tourism and Northumberland Wildlife Trust, they'll restore or possibly enhance compared to how it was before. Remember those two groups, Northumberland Tourism, Northumberland Wildlife Trust, because they are working with them for an environmental positive, because it's easy to diss open cast farming. An area was first mined in 1950. It's already been scarred by industry. Disadvantages: high noise, so social disadvantages. High noise, dust pollution, air pollution, traffic congestion. Economically, there's no money made because no tourists are visiting. Okay, at the moment, so there's going to be a period where not much money will be made during the extraction phase while you've got the congestion going on. Talked about the environmental impact and obviously CO2 being emitted. And finally, politically, the International Energy Agency estimates that the global demand for coal will fall. So in fact, politically, is it worth investing in? Anyway, that's open cast mining in Northumberland. But while you're here, let's go on to our second one. Same idea. This one is an oil field. Again, extraction of fossil fuels brings advantages and disadvantages. There's the oil field. Garnet oil field is there. And here you've got some details. North Sea has reserves, we know. Countries have been drilling, we know. Norway is the largest reserves. The reserve of oil and gas is starting to run short. Possibly another 30 to 40 years. It's estimated that the UK government has benefited already £300 billion since 1975, when North Sea oil was first discovered. So this one was discovered in 73, and by 93 it started production. What we're talking about now is the idea of expanding it. So it's been run by Shell with the oil pump to Teesside, you can see down here, and the gas going to St Fergus up there. So, but they collect both the gas and the oil from this area. Advantages: having UK's oil production meeting 67% of needs means that global oil prices should not necessarily lead to massive UK fluctuations. So you've got what we call energy security or oil security. Local multiplier effect, where the stuff comes ashore, or where the people come and go out to the rigs, they are going to be having quite large wages, they're going to spend them locally. Regional, many of these areas have become expert areas in building the rigs and the paraphernalia to support the oil industry. So you've got a regional scale, and finally the government gets cash, national multiplier effect. Politically, the UK still produces 60% of the natural gas, meaning it's less reliant on foreign gas. Typically, you'll often hear that Russian gas comes down through the European pipeline. And if we've got our own, surely that's a good idea. Disadvantages: major accidents. bit of detail here about Piper Alpha, clearly a potential issue. Economically, the problem is if the price globally of gas or oil goes down, it means it's not worth getting this oil and gas out, so suddenly it closes. In 2014 to 17, 150,000 workers lost their jobs because of that. Because they've lost their jobs, of course, you get a local negative multiplier effect. They've got less money to spend locally, etc. Talked about environmental impact of oil leaks, then you've got the global scale of fossil fuels, and then politically, as we said before, look at the risk under the economic factors. Prices fluctuate, losing jobs. People lose jobs, they start not to vote for you. Lots to put in there. Have a look at the resource. The link is underneath, and there's an exam question that could be answered by either of those two case studies. You don't need both. You need one of those two case studies.